You turned on the ads, leads started coming in, 5 a day, 10 a day, maybe more. You're thinking, finally, this is working. But then you look at your closed deals at the end of the month, and it's the same number as last month, maybe one or two more. So where did all those leads go? Here's what's actually happening. They're falling through the cracks, not because they were bad leads, not because your ads didn't work, but because you didn't have a system to capture, qualify, nurture, and convert them. Most home service contractors are using instant lead forms that let anyone opt in with just a name and a phone number. No qualifications, so you're getting tire kickers mixed in with serious buyers. No automated follow up, so your leads go cold while you're out running jobs. No retargeting to build trust before the appointment, and no way to track where each lead is in your pipeline. I'm Spencer Wright, and I build end-to-end conversion systems for contractors. After working with over 100 contractors, the pattern is clear. Ads generate the leads, the system converts them. In this video, I'm breaking down where leads disappear after they opt in, the three mechanisms that turn cold clicks into qualified appointments, and the conversion architecture that closes 60% of your leads instead of 10%. If you're generating leads but not closing them, this is what's missing. Most contractors think a lead is a lead. Someone fills out a form, you get their name and their number, then you call them back. Simple, right? Wrong, because when you use instant lead forms, the ones that autofill with one tap, you're not training the algorithm to find serious buyers. You're training it to find the easiest opt-ins. And that means you start getting accidental clicks, curious browsers, tire kickers with no budget, and people who just wanted a ballpark estimate and will never pick up the phone when you call. Here's the part that most people miss. Every time one of those low intent leads opts in, the platform counts it as a conversion event and goes, perfect. Let me find more people exactly like that. So your cost per lead might look good on paper, but your cost per qualified booked appointment is going through the roof. And if you're feeling the frustration of why am I getting leads but nobody's answering, this is why. Because your system is built to collect names, not to create buyer intent. Now, there's a really common story here. A contractor turns on ads, get flooded with cheap leads, and they start thinking, okay, volume fixes everything. But then what happens? They call, no answer. They text, no reply. Maybe they finally get one on the phone and it's someone who lives outside of the area, has no timeline, and just wants a quote for sometime this year. That's not a lead flow problem. That is a qualification problem. The fix is simple, but it's not what most people want to hear. Qualification has to happen before the opt-in. Before someone can give you their contact information, they answer questions like, what's the project type? What's the timeline? What's your budget range? And what's your location? Yes, fewer people will complete it, but that is the point. No one goes through a multi-step survey by accident. By the time they submit, they've raised their hand and said, I'm serious. And here's why that matters. When you send that conversion data back to the platform, you're teaching their algorithm what a real lead looks like. So over time, you don't just get fewer junk leads, you get better leads, higher intent leads, leads that when you show up, they close type of leads. Quick summary. Instant forms optimize for easy. Qualification funnels optimize for intent. Now, if you fix the qualification process, there's still a massive leak that kills contractors between lead came in and the appointment set. And this is where most contractors lose the entire game. Let's talk about the trust gap. By the time a homeowner sits down with you, they've already all but decided if they trust you. And that decision didn't happen during your sales pitch. It happened in the days before you showed up, based on what they saw and how you made them feel. This is why referrals close at 80 to 90% and cold leads close at 10 to 20. It's not because referrals are magically better prospects. It's because trust has already been transferred. Your neighbor says, call this contractor, and instantly you feel safer. You assume they're competent. You assume they're fair. You assume they won't screw it up. But when a cold lead opts in from an ad, there is no trust. There is no referral. They don't know you. And if all they get is a phone call and a text, that's not enough. You're asking them to go from stranger to a $25,000, $50,000, $75,000 commitment in one conversation. That's not selling, that's hoping. And most contractors try to solve this by following up harder, more calls, more texts, more voicemail drops. But the truth is, the issue isn't effort, it's their belief. The homeowner doesn't believe you're the safe choice. you're worth the money, or you're different from the other contractors they also clicked on. So, what do? We manufacture trust before the appointment. And I want to be super clear here. This isn't about branding stuff. This is simple psychology. After someone opts in, they need to see you consistently for the next 7 to 14 days. Project walkthroughs, before and afters, testimonials, educational content about cost and what to watch out for. The here's how to choose a contractor without getting burned type of stuff. You're not screaming, hire me, you're teaching them. And here's why that matters. Education pre-sales. When someone understands what goes into the job, why it costs, what it costs, and what can go wrong, they stop shopping like it's a commodity service. They start looking for the safest decision. That's how you go from showing up to a price comparison to showing up to someone asking, when can you start? Now, I've seen this shift happen fast, like immediately, when contractors stop running generic ads and start addressing what homeowners are actually worried about. Because homeowners are not sitting there thinking, I hope to find the lowest price. They're thinking, what if this goes sideways? What if they take my deposit and disappear? What if it looks good for 6 months, then fails? What if I pick the wrong contractor? When your messaging answers those fears head on, lead quality transforms. And this is exactly why authority matters so much, especially for high trust in-home estimate businesses. Let me give you a quick proof example here, because I know some of you are thinking, okay, Spencer, that sounds good, but does this actually work? Jason Flynn is a perfect example of what happens when you bridge the trust gap the right way. He had hired and fired 5+ agencies per year for 3 years, total agency graveyard situation. And every single one of them hit him with the same line. Give it 3 to 6 months. Meanwhile, his lead flow tanked, his revenue dropped under 100K per month, and he was terrified of losing his crews. Then we shifted him into an authority system that didn't rely on hope. And the wild part, within 48 hours of launch, we had his first booked appointment on his calendar without talking to a single person. And by month 4, he hit a record-breaking $500,000 sales month. Not because he suddenly became a better salesman, but because the leads showed up already educated, already trusting, already believing he was the right choice. And even though that example is from an exterior contractor, the mechanism applies to any home service business that sells high trust jobs. Roofing, windows, kitchens, HVAC, you name it. Same psychology. So if your leads are opting in but not booking, or booking and not showing, or showing but price shopping, it's not always your sales process. It's the trust gap between opt-in and appointment. And in the next section, I'm going to show you the final leak, the one that quietly murders conversion, even if your leads are good and your trust building is solid. It's pipeline tracking, because you can't fix what you can't see. Real quick, if you're watching this and thinking, I'm generating leads, but I can't figure out why they're not converting, I want to help you. I build complete conversion systems for contractors. The ads, the qualification funnels, the follow-up, the retargeting, the tracking, everything that you need that turns leads into booked appointments. If you want someone installing this for you instead of trying to piece it all together by yourself, click the link below and book a call. We'll look at where your leads are disappearing, map out exactly what the system will look like for your business, and show you exactly what you could expect in terms of results within the next 7 days. The link is in the description. Let's say you're generating 50 leads a month. How many turned into appointments? How many showed? How many closed? Most contractors can't answer that. They're flying blind. They know their leads are coming in, but they have no idea where they're disappearing. And when you don't know where the breakdown is, you can't fix it. This is where most contractors are accidentally running their business like a slot machine. Some months feel good, some months feel completely dead. They chalk it up to, it's the season, it's the market, people are broke, it's election year, Facebook doesn't work anymore. But 9 times out of 10, it's not the market. It is the pipeline. You need full visibility so you know exactly where each lead is at every stage. Is it a new lead? Is it a responsive lead? Is it an appointment requested? Is it an appointment confirmed? Is it an appointment completed? Was the job sold? Was it not sold? Because when you start tracking it, you usually find one of these problems. Leads aren't being contacted fast enough. Leads are contacted but not nurtured. Appointments are set but not confirmed properly. Estimates happen but follow-up is inconsistent. Or leads are never getting pushed to book in the first place. And if you're getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 leads a week, you cannot track that in your head. You need a system. Now, the second piece, this is the one that changes everything. It's a self-booking calendar. After someone completes the qualification survey, they see your available times and book themselves right then, while their intent is highest. No waiting for callbacks, no phone tag, no I forgot I filled that out. They pick the time, they commit to it, and show rates go up because they took ownership. Compare that to calling someone hours later and hearing, oh yeah, I forgot I even filled that out. Self booking fixes that. And then you add automated follow up for the people who don't book right away because not everyone is ready today. But if your system keeps educating them and stays in front of them, you don't lose them, you convert them later. And that's how you go from feast or famine to predictable revenue. And I want to drop in a quick proof point here because this is the part that sounds too simple until you see what it does in the real world. Mike Holst is a great example of what happens when you combine qualification, education, and self booking. He had burned $27,000 last year on agencies that promised the world and delivered him spam. He was literally just checking his phone every now and again to make sure his phone number still worked. Then we flipped the system. And one of the big shifts was getting leads out of the name and number trap and into a flow where they qualify themselves, understand what they're asking for, and book an appointment like an adult decision maker. The result? He had an appointment explosion, 52 exclusive booked appointments in 10 days. That's not a better ad. That's a better conversion architecture. And again, his business was an exterior contractor example, but the mechanism applies to any home service business running in-home estimates. If you're doing high trust jobs, you need the lead to arrive pre-sold, not skeptical. So let's tie all of this together in one clean takeaway. Because if you miss this, you'll keep thinking you have a lead problem when you're really having a conversion problem. The real fix is simple. Qualification before opt-in so you stop paying for junk. Trust manufacturing between opt-in and appointment so they show up ready to buy, and pipeline tracking and self-booking so nothing falls through the cracks. And if you install those three mechanisms, you stop playing the more leads game and start playing the more conversions game. Because the goal isn't generating more leads. The goal is to generate job calls that turn into booked appointments and closed deals. That's the difference between a contractor who's constantly stressed and a contractor who knows no matter what happens this month, my pipeline is full. So that's it. Three mechanisms: qualification before opt-in, so you're only paying for high intent leads; trust manufacturing between opt-in and appointment so they show up ready to buy; and pipeline tracking with self-booking so nothing falls through the cracks. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, this makes sense, but I'm already running crews, doing estimates, managing projects, I get it. You don't have bandwidth to become a systems architect on top of everything else. And that is why I do this for contractors. I install this entire conversion system, run it full time, and guarantee results. If you're tired of generating leads that ghost you and you want a system that actually converts them, click the link in the description and book a call with me. We'll walk through where you're at, what you're trying to accomplish, and see if working together makes any sense. I back everything I do with a guarantee, so there's literally zero risk on your end. And if this video helped, subscribe. I drop new contractor marketing videos every week, breaking down exactly what's working right now. I appreciate you being here. See you on the next one. Cheers.